Hello and welcome back to the Mario Kart Wii Custom Track Ranking Project, where each episode I dive into a specific creator's lineup of Mario Kart Wii custom tracks to see how they hold up today and also how they all rank against each other. Last time I took a look at MKDasher's mixed repertoire of remakes, and this time I got a second round of remakes from another retired creator by the name of Yoshidude4. Yeah, consider these first two episodes to be a prelude to the original track creators. I just wanted to familiarize myself first. While Yoshidude4, who I will be calling Yoshi for the rest of the video, isn't as immediately recognizable as MKDasher, Yoshi specializes in hacking both Mario Kart Wii and DS, much like him. Yoshi's time frame of hacking spanned from 2012 to 2015, and man, you can tell their bio was written in 2012 because the words hi and my are in it. Their hacking resume does span more than MKDasher's though. All he made other than his tracks are just 3 character vehicle combo skins. Yoshi on the other hand made a Battle Arena, which is a remake of SNES Battle Course 1, a few texture hacks, most of which downgrade the Double Dash tracks back to their original looks for a custom track distribution, made Rob and Shy Guy playable in Wii for the first time, and also ported 7 vehicles over to the Wii engine, with their final MKW contribution being porting the standard card from Mario Kart 8 to this game. I would say check their YouTube channel out, like I said with MKDasher last time, considering they posted a link to it at the end of their bio, but even if it has over 1,000 subs, their channel is just a ghost town at this point. It's always kind of sad to see these old channels either not be active anymore or just be completely blank, especially when it's a former active creator. So, in honor of Yoshi, I'll be looking over all 12 of their remakes to see if they hold up today. After playing all of these tracks, I can confirm that only half of these tracks hold up as opposed to only a couple of them. So this will be a smoother ranking this time around. Without further ado, here's every Yoshidude4 custom track in Mario Kart Wii ranked. Starting off with the one and only D tier course on this list. One that exists purely as a novelty and nothing more. Let's get this track over with. Last time in my MKDasher ranking, I brought up Dokkan Course, an unused track in Mario Kart DS, and only one of 9 tracks found in the game's files that were made just for testing. No other Mario Kart has this many tracks that were left on a cutting room floor, and one such case of a certain track's exclusion is definitely a bit more interesting than the rest. Deep in the files of DS lies an unfinished version of Mario Circuit from Double Dash. Yes, they really were planning to fill most of their Double Dash retro slots on all of the game's circuit tracks. Honestly, if this track made it in, that would have been my breaking point in terms of circuits. You know DS, this game loves shoving circuits down people's throats, so I'm glad this was scrapped in favor of either Baby Park or Mushroom Bridge. And instead, this track made its way over to the following game, Wii. Now, remaking a track that's already in the game is always an odd choice, but Yoshi sure found a loophole. Here's the Wii remake of the unused DS version of GameCube Mario Circuit. And honestly, talking about its history is much more interesting than the track itself. You can tell this track went unused because, my god, there's nothing here. Yeah, the beginning section is still kinda satisfying to turn through, but it's the only thing that saves this track from F tier because afterwards, there's literally nothing. No piranha plants, no Goombas, no chain chomp, not even the little bumps in the final section. It's just a snore fest. Do I even have anything to add? What you see is what you get. I don't even blame Yoshi for this. The track itself was left in DS the way it is once it was abandoned. Maybe they wanted to port this over because it was kind of funny and that was the only unused DS track that wasn't ported over yet, but the novelty factor is all this track has going for it. Aside from the much cheaper looking visuals, I got nothing else to say. It's just a boring and empty version of a circuit track that's already not all that interesting to begin with. I'm so done with this track that I'm just gonna cut to the next segment before I even finish this sentence.
I want a plain donut!
To kick off the C tiers, here we have SNES Donut Plains 3. No, not that one. That one doesn't have a bunch of bloopers awkwardly jumping in completely in sync. This remake is visually inspired by Donut Plains 1 from DS, and while this would suffice for a remake of said track on DS, here, not so much. What we got is a mostly flat track featuring bridges over water, Monty Moles, piranha plants, and count 'em, one ramp. Wow, let's not get too crazy here. I almost thought I was playing a good track for a second. Okay, that's a bit mean. There are some compliments I want to give. The vibes are still here. The Monty Moles do make for cute obstacles, and for an SNES remake, putting a big jump in a non-Mario Circuit 2 course does make this slightly more interesting in my eyes. One very notable thing I want to bring up about this remake though is that it accidentally has an ultra shortcut. If you turn around and hit this wall at a certain angle, you can actually get to the top of it. Afterwards, just make a few circles across this narrow wall and boom, you win. Yeah, for a track that isn't very special, the ultra shortcut partly saves it from being a slog, and as far as I know, this has never been patched out. So if you know your stuff, you can win a race on this track lickety split. Incredible. It's not bad, it's competently made, but it's still Donut Plains 3 at the end of the day. It exists, it's harmless, and that's all it really has to be, TBH. So I'd much rather play these remakes of the track instead. Sorry, Yoshi. N64 Moo Moo Farm, the farm track that Nintendo refuses to bring back for some reason. This remake was done in collaboration with Melber, another moderately well-known Mario Kart modder. You might remember him as the creator of Mario Kart DS, aka the MKDS mod with all the memes in it. You can play as Shrek, instant 10 out of 10 right there. With the extra help, this track now feels like it was made for Wii, with extra little details like shadows along with some ramps. And again, it's still just a circle, so there's not a whole lot going for it. What I will give this track is that it is very satisfying to go through at top speed in Wii's physics engine. Drifting around the bends is usually an easy task, and the addition of ramps allows you to fly across the track in a few areas. It's honestly the most fun I've ever had on Moo Moo Farm, official or not, and it's the closest we'll ever get to this track making it into World instead of Meadows again. Despite its very simple design, it's still kind of fun to play on, and this remake captures that feel to a T. Also, Monty Moles. These guys always say boring tracks are being a complete waste of time. God bless these moles. Overall, Moo Moo Farm is still just an alright track, but the advantages of Wii's engine help make this a bit more fun to race on. Kinda wish they added cows as obstacles on the track, but I'll take what I can get.
Hey, wouldn't you rather, I don't know, have a beach day?
Maybe if we had time for 20 more courses, but we don't.
We have once again returned to the unused DS course realm. This time we have what felt like the most complete one of the bunch with Noko Noko Beach, or Noko Noko _course as it's referred to in the game's code. It was meant to be the game's beach course, acting as a sequel to 64's Koopa Troopa Beach, hence the Japanese name, but it was scrapped and I assume Cheap Cheap Beach was put in its place. Nonetheless, it was found in the game's demo and it was immortalized for all Mario Kart diehards to explore, and eventually recreate. Yoshi, in collaboration with Melber again, and also alongside another creator named Turbo Yoshi, decided to modernize this track and bring new life to it, and honestly looks on par with the base game DS tracks. Unfortunately, while it's pretty to look at, it's not all that fun to play on for me. The track has a bunch of split paths throughout, and while it does help make each lap in one race unique, most of the paths aren't all that special, and once again, fall into the driving for a long period of time with not much going on curse. It's not all boring though. There's crabs you have to dodge at certain points, and there's a mushroom shortcut ramp, but the exciting parts are only few and far between. Overall, while I'm glad this remake put more effort into a track that didn't see the light of day, doing more than just the bare minimum, it's too slow for my taste. And if I'm in the mood to play this course specifically again, I'd much rather play ZPL's version. Sorry again, Yoshi, but at least we're heading into the B tiers next, so show me what else you got.
Hey all, Beta 64 here.
Interestingly enough, we're going from an unused DS course to an unused version of an already existing DS course. Introducing Waluigi Pinball Beta. It's the same course you all love, just kinda crappier. Yoshi collaborates with the same two other creators from last time again, alongside a fourth guy by the name of Jericom, a creator with no wiki page whatsoever. That's kinda raw. Also, it's kind of insane to me that this port job was handled by 4 different CT creators. It's like how Fairly Odd Parents seasons 9 and 10 sometimes credit like 5 or 6 different writers for an 11-minute episode. Anyways, this beta version ain't half bad. The aesthetics here give off the vibe of what if this track was made for Double Dash instead of DS, with the textures kinda matching that game's look, mainly the boost panels, in which there are a bunch more than there normally are. Also, I hope you like obstacles because there's a bunch of them hastily slapped onto the track now. I'm guessing those were implemented before the DS devs ultimately decided to program a large rolling pinball onto the track. Another big difference is the bottom section, which also drops a bunch of random obstacles across the floor, including a slots ramp and slanted paddles that do absolutely nothing. It's like a bizarro version of this beloved track, and it's just fascinating to watch unfold. Now, none of my issues are to follow the remake itself. In terms of the original beta version, it's been adapted pretty well into Wii. It's just not as good because why are there so many bumpers and yet no damn pinballs? One notable change the creators did make was, weirdly enough, the advertisements along the walls. World building wise, why are they here of all places? I mean, it's not vandalism if you're doing it to an unused area in the original game, right? Whatever, at least it's still Waluigi Pinball, just a version of it that came from that one weird dream you had. The layout is familiar, but there's a lot of weird differences between beta and final that it kinda makes you glad the devs changed them for the better. Considering there's no other Wii remake of this prototype track, let's chalk this up to Yoshi and the others for flawlessly converting this weird earlier version of one of the greatest Mario Kart tracks of all time. Just don't use a bullet bill when you reach this section, like seriously, what the hell was that?
The fog is coming. The fog is coming. The fog is coming.
Oh hey, an actually playable remake of Sky Garden. It's all I could have asked for after last time. So Yoshi's version of Sky Garden is pretty good. It's like a combination of both the GBA and DS versions of the track, adding smaller trick bumps alongside the DS shortcuts. And for what it is, it's a solid little effort on their part. Wish I could actually see parts of the damn track though. I know this sounds like a nitpick considering this is only an issue for certain small parts of the track, but why is there fog here? I get it, we're in the sky and all, but there wasn't any fog in the original or DS versions. At first it doesn't sound too bad, but the fog just ends up eclipsing your view in some cases, before suddenly just cutting back to reality. In a game where you have to watch the road for all the stuff in your way, fog feels like something you shouldn't add to a racetrack. It's probably here because of the track slot has been placed in. That's a huge factor in course creation after all, but no matter what, when you reach these areas, it just gets kind of annoying for like 2 seconds. And it slightly gets more annoying with each encounter. Fuck the fog, all my homies hate the fog. Wait, what track was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Sky Garden. I thought I was playing Fog Garden for a second. I always liked this track for being well designed, with its slick layout and various turns you make along the way, and Yoshi recaptured it in Wii pretty flawlessly. I also like that the Luigi blimp from GBA Luigi Circuit is still in the background just like the original. That's a detail that even the 8 Deluxe version forgot. But then again, it forgot everything else about Sky Garden except for the music, so it's not that big a deal. While it's still pretty flat and not all that in-depth by modern standards, it's still a solid Wii version of Sky Garden overall. Could have done without the fog, but that issue's been rectified in future versions, so at least that's been resolved. Still waiting for Nintendo to rectify all the angry Sky Garden fans though. Give us back the original layout, you cowards.
It's nothing but the light stuff.
I have always been an avid defender of DK Pass. Yeah, it's not as great as DK Mountain or DK Summit, but it's got vibes. It's got that relaxing music track, it's got a fun ride up and down a mountain, and it's also got a giant snowball that can end you if you're not careful. What's not to love? When it comes to Yoshi's remake, done in collaboration with Quadgeek99, it's a solid but not perfect conversion. Like Sky Garden, this remake combines both the original and remake versions into one, this case being the DS and 7 versions. This helps make the track look like it could have come out of the base game in Wii. It looks that good. One nitpick I have with this remake is the fact that the snowballs have a perpetual shadow that just rolls along with them. It just doesn't look all that convincing. Like, it could have been all white and it would have looked just fine, as evidenced by this track's other Wii remakes. At least the snowmen look more naturally implemented with their head animations. Also, at least there are obstacles that even exist at all, right, Nintendo? A Aside from my one snowball nitpick, I don't have anything else to complain about this track. So many people don't like this track and find it boring, but I just don't agree at all. Some tracks don't have to be too wild and all over the place. They're allowed to just be a vibe and not have a lot going on. Many other DK tracks in this series have it beat in terms of overall quality, but I don't hate DK Pass in the slightest. It's one of the more underrated tracks in the series in my opinion, and Yoshi's remake helps highlight what I like about it. A faithful remake of a less appreciated track that I find to be pretty good overall. I know this segment is a bit short, but I pretty much said all I had to say about it, so I'll just end this segment off by showing you all this insanely lucky green shell dodge. I felt like a god when this happened.
Yeah, that was absolute dog shit. They should call it Poo Mountain.
Let me tell you, snow mountains are pretty cool, but poo mountains are even better. And more disgusting. Made in collaboration with Yoshidude4, this remake of Choco Mountain aims to modernize the track, as they noticed that previous versions don't utilize Mario Kart Wii's full potential. They mostly added a bunch of extra background elements, which do make this mostly brown track visually more interesting to race through, but they did also add a half pipe to the falling rocks section. Cool? Honestly, it's not a very useful half pipe. You're better off just drifting and turning left on the main road. Also, they added boost panels to the track, before eventually removing them in future versions. Yeah, most of these changes aren't really that amazing. They're either not really needing of a change or just get removed anyways. Minor changes aside, this is still the same Choco Mountain we all remember through and through. You can trick off the hills, dodge the rocks, admire the added scenery, and hopefully not fall off this one corner possibly. That being said, it's still pre-tour Choco Mountain, a track I don't find all that memorable until the eventual remakes in 8 Deluxe and World. But at least the physics in this game make this track more fun to race on than the original and DS versions. So to me, this is just an enjoyable middle ground. It's not as bombastic as the later official remakes, nor as tedious as the earlier versions. This is just a fun track that I don't really have a whole lot to say about. It's fun, I like it, that's about it. See ya.
That's that creepy Bowser's laugh.
Yoshi has dabbled in some Bowser Castle remakes during their brief stint as a CT creator, which is to say they've done 2 of the 4 GBA Bowser Castle tracks. No clue why they didn't remake Bowser Castle 1 considering that's the simplest of the 4, but regardless, Bowser Castle 2 and 4 have been given the Yoshi treatment. We'll get to 4 in due time, but for now, let's focus on Bowser Castle 2, aka the one that was in DS, so it's easy to see why this got ported over. Oh wait, this is a full-on remake and not a straight model port. I always like some extra effort. Also in collaboration with Yoshidude4, this is basically if this track was remade in a game like Wii or 7 instead of their respective remakes of BC3 or BC1. There is a load of ramps over lava to trick off of, which is more fun than the DS version since that game didn't have a trick system. And they even included a shortcut ramp from 7, one that I suck at reaching. The aesthetics are still in check, the thwomps pose a threatening obstacle, as are the lava geysers in between ramps, and even though this track is flat, it's still a fun time. Layout wise, there are better tracks than this, but as blocky as it is, it ain't half bad. I always like when custom remakes are optimized for the game they're remaking it for, just like Nintendo's official track remakes. And this is no exception. Again, I don't really have much else to say on this one, but what I do have more to say on are the A tiers. These top 3 tracks I think are Yoshi's best remakes, both factoring in how fun the original track is and how it's been improved in Wii by the creator themselves. Let's get it started.
The best game on NES is Pinball.
Waluigi Pinball. It's Waluigi Pinball. No, but really, this is a damn good remake of a peak track. Everything looks natural. It's like if this track actually got ported to Wii. Nothing looks cheap or low quality. Turbo Yoshi helped work on this remake with Yoshi. That's right, 2 whole Yoshis worked together to make this track. This remake is based off the Mario Kart 7 version, the best version of Waluigi Pinball in my opinion. And you know they cared this much when they kept the pinball off to the side near the starting line. The bottom section looks really glossy, the pinballs move like how they're supposed to, and you can actually get hit by the flippers instead of just phasing through them big rig style. There's a lot of improvement over the last Waluigi Pinball remake I've played for this series, so why isn't this an S tier? Well, for one simple reason. They forgore the rolling pinball in the middle section. That's the only point I will give to MKDasher's remake over this one. At least that version kept the giant pinball in the middle of the road. I know it's an annoyance to some people who played this track, but to me, the giant pinball adds a sense of danger danger to the long road down the pinball table, and removing it just doesn't make it as faithful. I'm sorry, but them's the rules. Even still, everything else about this track is untouched. It's fun, it's dynamic, it's cool. What more could you want out of this track? Waluigi Pinball could very well be our lord and savior in disguise. Waluigi Pinball could kill a man and I'd still love it to pieces. Now if it killed me, that's a whole other story, but let's not worry about that. Even though Waluigi Pinball is still peak, the fact that this remake is not as strong as the official versions means that there are 2 tracks that I find to be even better than this somehow. I know, crazy, right? Why don't we get to the top 2 now, shall we?
Yoshi!
Let me start by saying this. They kept the tunnel shortcut and the Yoshi copter. That alone makes this version better than the DS and 8 versions. I could stop there, but that's the coward's way out. Yoshi Circuit is peak. To me, Yoshi Circuit has always been in a close race with Daisy Circuit and Hyrule Circuit for best circuit track in the series. A subset of tracks that's usually very standard and basic. Their purpose is to be tutorial courses and not much more. Usually the more complex circuits are better than the others, but one circuit track stands out above the rest for making a basic outline of a character really fun to drive on. They nailed down Yoshi's transition to a racetrack super well. His nose is a tunnel, the back of his head has flowers blooming out, you can see his saddle around this corner. If you look at the course zoomed out, I'd say with zero hesitation, that is Yoshi. Gameplay wise, while it's not the most dangerous track ever with the piranha plants being out of your way most of the time, the turns are sharp enough to still make it fun to drive through whilst offering a challenge to beginners. And the shortcuts are satisfying to pull off. I love this track a lot, and Yoshi and Melber have ported this track expertly well. This is probably the most fun I've had with Yoshi Circuit since Double Dash. 8's version was very close to topping it, but has some exclusions holding it back, while this is just Yoshi Circuit in its purest form. Shortcuts and Yoshi Copter intact, and the course itself is loads of fun. There's even a Christmas version of this track. They didn't need to go that far, but that version looks awesome too. I will defend Yoshi Circuit until the day I die. My favorite circuit track in all of Mario Kart, and as remakes of the track go, this is the best one I've played so far, official or otherwise. As great as this remake is, there's only one other remake by Yoshi that I think is even better. Told you we'd get to this course eventually. In my opinion, GBA Bowser Castle 4 is better than it has any right to be. It pains me that this track is still stranded on the GBA and even its stellar remake and tour, while all the other GBA Bowser Castles have been remade on home console in some shape or form. It's remakes like this that truly help bring this course to life. To me, this track is the best of the 4 layout wise, and in terms of its adaptation to Wii, done by both Yoshi and MKDasher, it's pretty much flawless. Yeah, it's still mostly flat, but it's a well-designed flat track. There's danger around every corner, and it fits the setting we're in. It almost goes as crazy as the 3D Bowser Castles if we're being honest. Lava geysers, thwomps, Mecha Koopas, lava bubbles, this track throws these guys at you any chance it gets. It's not to the point of overkill, it's just challenging enough to make this the perfect penultimate track in the original Super Circuit track lineup. Also, this track is long. A single lap on this is at least 70 seconds long. While it sounds like a turnoff at first, I'm fine with it being this long because this track is the ultimate 2D Bowser Castle track. It does not overstay its welcome, and it's not too boring. It has its fair share of jump opportunities, including a huge boost ramp. The remake even adds a shortcut ramp to the side just afterwards for an extra jump if needed. Also in the background, there are multiple thwomps that are just dead. Like, they're just laying in the lava, eyes closed, and not moving at all, so yeah, they're most likely dead. That's pretty gnarly, likely inspired by N64 Bowser's Castle, and even then, the Thwomp was still alive and well in the cage. Yeah, this track rules, and that includes its remake. It's vast and varied in layout and obstacles, it's very frantic even with its longer length, and while it's still flat, it's definitely one of the best flat tracks in the series. Bowser Castle 4 is a vastly underappreciated track in the grand scheme of Super Circuit, but the additions and adjustments in this remake make this my absolute favorite track from Yoshidude4. As for Yoshidude4, we'll save him for another time. So that's my list. Even though most of the tracks here are collabs and the extra help probably made these courses rank higher than they should have, I still think Yoshi is a solid remake creator. They definitely know how to nail down what makes these tracks fun in the first place. And even if some of the tracks are not as interesting and made just for archival purposes, they're still at least a little cool to play on. Some of these courses have never been remade this way or at all, so it's cool to see what they might have looked like in Wii. Generally, these tracks have been more polished and fun than MKDasher's offerings, but I don't discredit any track creators just for being inferior. Some of Yoshi's remakes have been made obsolete, but they are still well designed and polished once you take a closer look at them. Not so much the lower ranking courses, but not every CT creator is perfect, especially early on, and that's okay. It's best to improve your craft and see the potential in your work unfold as you make more and more of the stuff you want to make. Eventually, you will have your big moment and make a course that everyone will remember as something that will surpass Nintendo's official courses. That's partly why I'm excited to see what various other creators have to offer in the realm of Mario Kart Wii custom tracks, to look for the highest potential of courses in the community. And so, the next creator I'm looking over is going to have entirely original courses on offer, with a remake or two in there somewhere. What can I say? I'm always half and half on everything. So that's pretty much it. Drop a like and hit subscribe. Have a good rest of your day.